For some people, homosexuality is an adaptation. That works for them. They want to pursue a gay lifestyle. They certainly have the right to pursue a gay lifestyle. We are available for those who want to change. We are available to those who say homosexuality for me is a maladaptation, and that's the population we want to work with. Not only is the APA changing now, but APA changed before 1973. We have to understand, if we're going to follow the words of the APA, then we have to consider that before 1973, homosexuality was always a disorder. Always a disorder. The three greats in psychology, Jung, Freud, and Adler, the three greats, all saw homosexuality as a disorder. And it has been consistently seen as a disorder until one day in 1973. What happened on that day? Was there a big scientific meeting? Was there an understanding of no, there was no new evidence presented. Suddenly it was a political decision. And so in one day, 150 years of literature was wiped away. Young people are not being told they have a choice. They're being told they have a gay gene, that they have gay DNA. This is certainly not true. This is certainly misinformation, and we're doing a great injustice to young people when we encourage them to go into a gay lifestyle, when we encourage them to go engage in gay sex. Try it, see if you like it. What kind of advice is that? The most ridiculous advice you can give anybody. And yet we're being told this. And these counselors are doing it with good intentions. They really believe that there is a gay gene. They are being told this at the educational level, and they repeat it. In 1972, we heard that the gays were going to use the 20th anniversary of the 1973 decision. They were going to use 1993, the 20th anniversary of the 73 decision, to completely outlaw the treatment of homosexuality. We heard about this, and so a number of psychologists and psychiatrists around the country who do this kind of work decided to come together and to support ourselves and to support clients to preserve their right to receive treatment. And that's how NARTH was born in 1992, the year before the 1993. And in the beginning, they dismissed us, they ignored us. The strategy of the gay activists, the strategy of gay psychiatrists within the American Psychiatric Association was to ignore us. Well, they couldn't ignore us. We kept growing and growing, and we continue to have an influence. We have a very strong and well-written website with excellent scientific information. We're very careful that what we put on our website is scientifically grounded. It's not religious, it's not political. We have a national conference every year, which is very well attended, excellent speakers. We're making inroads. We're making inroads, and we cannot be ignored. And today we have over 1,000 members, so we're doing very, very well. All over. We're having NARTH chapters all over the country. We have NARTH Switzerland, Italy, Canada, Mexico. I don't even know where else. Spain. I mean, we're just growing. We're growing. The world is designed for male and female. And it's not homophobia. It's just that's the way things are. And children, if you leave a child alone and don't traumatize him, he will be heterosexual. 98% of the population is heterosexual. So chances are it's easier to live as 98% of the population than it is to live as 2% of the population. That's the reality of it. Now, we're certainly not talking about gay bashing or hurting people or diminishing their civil rights. We certainly don't want to advocate that. But the reality is that this is a heterosexual world. When the client walks in, if he says to me, I am here because my church wants me to change, or my Bible wants me to change, or my family wants me to change, that client is not going to do well in therapy. They have to come because they want to change. Most of the people that come to us say, homosexuality just doesn't feel true. It's not that it's right or wrong in the moral sense, but when I engage in homosexual activity, there's something false about it. There's something dissatisfying about it. That is the motivation to change. Well, most of the conversation we've been having here is about male homosexuals, because that's most of the clients we deal with. And there seems to be more male homosexuality than female homosexuality. Some studies say 5 to 1, some say 3 to 1. One study says 11 to 1. We don't know exactly, but we know that there is more male homosexuality than female homosexuality. And that might be because the boy has to disidentify with the mother and connect with the father. See, he has the additional developmental task of doing this. The girl maintains her identity with her mother, and from that she develops a feminine identity. But the boy has to do this other particular step. So, while we've been talking about male homosexuality, we might want to consider for a moment lesbianism. Now, lesbianism could be a little more complicated, and there are 3 basic causes in terms of development. So let's start with the earliest development. The first one is this, what we call the symbiotic or infant relationship, where the baby girl is attached to the mother, but there is a breach or a break or a breaking of the emotional connection with the mother. The mother is attuned to the baby, but maybe she's going through a psychological problem herself, or she's going through a crisis, or she's having trouble with the father or the husband. And so she makes a disconnection. So the baby experiences this loss, this drop of attachment. So it's intermittent connection, okay? So there's this hunger for the mother figure, which they discover later on. Growing up a little longer, we go to another kind of problem that the girl might encounter, which is a gender problem. And this is like the male homosexual. For the lesbian, she disidentified with the mother and bonded with the father. See, she did what the boy should do. Now, why would a girl disconnect with the mother and bond with the father? Well, sometimes you have a family dynamic where the mother is passive and weak and emotionally unavailable. Yeah, and the father is very, we say seductive, not sexually seductive, but very a large personality. He's charismatic, he's salient. You might have a situation where the father is abusive to the mother, and the girl says, if this is what it means to be a female, to be weak, to be victim, I'm going to identify with dad. And in fantasy, she becomes daddy's little boy. This is identification with the aggressor. So she basically, in fantasy, denies her feminine identity. And this is the more masculine type of lesbian, the more butch type lesbian. And very often this lesbian type will connect with the first type that's looking for a mother figure. So you'll have the passive feminine type, and then you have the more masculine type. So you have 2 different types. Then we have a third cause, which is a girl who might have been sexually molested by a male. And so for her, she has a phobic reaction or a fearful reaction to male sexuality. And for her, lesbianism is it's a safe place for her to go. But that is more like a trust issue. It's not so much a fundamental issue. And that usually has the best prognosis in therapy. Those are the 3 basic types.